You don't get to have some things, you get to have everything. That is the mantra, the quote, the inspiration from my guest for this episode, Amanda Marit. Amanda is an intuitive and spiritual coach for high-level entrepreneurs, leaders, and celebrities, and we have the most fun in this episode, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the Charmed Life YouTube channel. This channel is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and the unconditional love of the universe. And I am your host here. My name is Tricia Carr. I want to tell you a little bit about myself as we roll into this episode with Amanda Marit, who is intuitive and spiritual coach. I am also a coach. I am a mentor. I am a producer of all kinds of media to support people to do it how they want to. So I want to invite you to please like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell to get notifications for when I publish these videos, because these are free to you right here on the YouTube platform, but also my podcast. So anyway, this episode, this particular, is an excerpt from my full-length episode on the podcast with Amanda Marit. So if you would like to hear the whole conversation, it's an hour at least, I don't even remember, with Amanda, then do find in the description, you'll click a link to be able to find the podcast. Please do subscribe to the Charmed Life podcast as well. And this is an excerpt of this exciting conversation that I have with Amanda Marit. So enjoy, and I'll chat with you on the other side. Oh my gosh, you're just such the perfect guest because you are a demonstration that life is a charmed experience. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to, why don't you share with everyone, your journey, the work that you're doing, because it's just fascinating.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I love your energy is very effervescent and very fairy-like and it just angelic.
Okay, you don't even know this, you guys, those who are listening. We just met. We just met, and she was connected through a third party. I am a fairy whisperer. I am everyone. So anyway, that's just, it's really
I know,
funny.
I can see it. Yes, I'm an intuitive as well. So
Of course, exactly. So
yeah.
I have to give the nod to the evidence you just brought today. So,
Anyways, thank you so much for having me. I'm also an intuitive and a business mentor for entrepreneurs, for CEOs, and now for people in the public eye in my private practice.
love it.
So
love it.
there's a multitude of ways that I'm really, really passionate about sharing my work. One is actually train spiritual coaches through my intuitive and spiritual coaching certification called Illuminated. And then I also work with female entrepreneurs and a variety of things. And it sounds like we're very like-minded in how we think and how we show up and bringing our heart into all that we truly do.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm really passionate about is understanding and knowing that we came onto this earth right now, this planet at this time, for probably a greater purpose than we even imagined at this point with the way the world's been progressing, at least for me. I knew it was big, but now since in the past 2 years, I'm like, oh, it's bigger than I thought it was. And I already thought it was big, right? But it's like, and so, I've been on this journey for quite some time. I've always been fascinated with the angelic realm. And I've been
I was gonna say you're telling me I'm fairy. I'm like, well, you're angel. Look at you with your angelic hair and everything. You're just illuminated, if you will, with
I've
the
always
angel
been
energy.
angels, obsessed,
Mhm.
obsessed, even through college and before I even really woke up to all of this stuff. I was always obsessed, but part of me always knew, of course. And so, long story short, what really brought me on this path to get to where I am now is, I would say, one of my biggest awakening moments was back in 2012. And I was in my corporate job. So I was in corporate before building what I've built today. And I climbed the ladder. I was like staffing and recruiting, actually, and climbed my way up the ladder, was promoted a bunch of times, thought I was going to be like Miss Corporate America in this pencil skirt with the curls in her hair down the hall, right? And I got to this point where I was like, I loved it until I didn't. But part on this journey for me, it was like I was really successful in my job, but then I looked around in my love life and I was attracting all the wrong men for me. And really, in truth, they were great people, but I attracted pretty emotionally unavailable men, and it was really obviously a self-worth thing. And I got to this point where it was a really painful pattern where I'd look around, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm kind of like the package. Like, I've got it going on. I take care of myself. I'm successful. Why am I attracting these experiences? And everyone else is in like relationships and dating. And here I am getting ghosted and really not having any emotional fulfilling experiences. And it was really painful. It was
Mm.
really painful for me to experience that. And so I started seeking and and asking for answers, praying for answers, because there's one experience that got me really fed up, had my middle finger flying in the air, which was like at the time not very in character for me. But I got to this point where I was like, F you, something's got to change.
Yeah.
And I grabbed all the spiritual books and books about angels, and I had a woman look at me and tell me, "You're a light worker," at a party randomly. And we were talking in the corner for hours. I started bawling my eyes out because I knew she was right. I didn't even know what that meant at the time, but I
Yeah.
knew she was right. And it was like my eyes were opened to a sense of purpose, to knowing like, oh my gosh, I am different.
Yeah.
I've always felt different. And her saying that to me was the key. Really, it turned a key for me to understand that there was more to this physical world than what I had even been aware of up to this point, and that there was a greater purpose that I came here to share. And I just knew, it was a knowing. It was like a knowing unlocked in that moment. And I remember waking up the next day feeling so light and
Mm.
high, almost like I was born for the first time. Like, I remember going to get frozen yogurt with one of my girlfriends, and I was in her passenger seat, and I'm like, I felt like this sense of floatiness, and I just can remember that moment feeling like a switch turned on and I had just awakened.
Mm.
And and that journey really brought me so much, well, very introspective and lots of light bulb moments and understanding that I was the creator of my experience and that I attracted those relationships because really I was not loving, truly loving myself, seeing my
Yeah.
own value and own worth. So I was accepting less, of course, and not understanding that there was healing that was really being called of me to understand where this was coming from, where this pattern began, and understanding that I could create something different.
Lightshine Academy presents the 2022 Channeling Intensive. Open your divine channel to higher consciousness, cosmic intelligences, and source energy. This program begins the week of May 9th, 2022. Check it out at class.lightshineacademy.com/2022CI. This intensive is not to be missed.
And a great question to ask yourself too is what is this touching?
Yes.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's this bringing up for me?
Yeah.
Because there's something deeper underneath the comment someone said to you, or even for me in my past when I would get ghosted, it's like, what
Mm-hmm.
memory is this bringing up? Like, what is this repeating inside of me? And also, like, where is this coming from? And where am I looking outside of myself for something?
And how do I ghost myself? Ooh, how do I
Yeah,
abandon
like,
myself?
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm,
I love that. Yes,
mhm.
yes,
That's when I really turn it around that way, as Byron Katie says. When I turn it around very literally on myself, I'm like, "Oh, that's right. I do that. I do ghost myself or whatever
right.
whatever it is, or insult myself, to make myself small, not value myself." And if we can look at it neutrally, oh, it's so healing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I love that too because that's a huge part of my process as well, is
Mhm.
like, well, what do I need to give myself in this moment that
Yeah,
I'm looking for outside of myself? Like, for me, like, back when those patterns were really at the peak, when I had my awakening moment and all the frustrations, it was, wow, like, I'm looking for them to validate me and tell me I'm enough, but they
yeah.
can't do that. They can't ever do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna be continuing to grasp for that. I'm never gonna be completely full. I'm
Mhm.
always going to be looking outside of me unless it gets filled up from within, right? And so that was profound for me when I first started that work because, like, wow, light bulb moment. My whole life, even looking outside of me and different men, even like growing up in my life and my family and all that, like wanting their love in a certain way, even though they did love me, wanting it in a way that I didn't receive it, right? And learning
Mhm.
how to give that to myself fully
Yeah.
and letting other people off the hook, really. And,
Yes.
and letting them, yeah, not holding them accountable for how I feel about me.
I'm sure a lot of us are wondering, so then did you, I mean, do you want to share? Do you have, did the partnerships searching, start to work out
Yeah.
more for you?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I'm single right now, and he's coming. But it's
But
not
you're whole.
but I'm whole, right? And it
Yes.
doesn't land the same. And
Mhm.
the experience I've had in dating, like, since that is completely different because
Mm.
I when I c now I can sense the red flags that I couldn't
Mhm.
sense before because
Yeah.
I wasn't whole within myself. I didn't remember my wholeness, right? Like, I was
Yeah.
seeking, right? So, but now that I know what it's like to be in a relationship with myself that's healthy, which really is the foundation, there's a whole segment in my cert that's about dating yourself first.
Yes.
Even when you're in
Yes.
partnership, even still when you're in union with another,
Yes.
is understanding because if you're not, it's gonna reflect in your relationship,
Mhm.
right? Because we'll
Yes.
be projecting our stuff onto another, and for me, the relationship with myself has been so important. It's a daily commitment, and Source has given me plenty of time to hone this relationship, right? So that the union that I can be in can be a beautiful example for the world of what's possible.
What I loved about meeting and getting to know Amanda is her authenticity and her capacity to reframe, because I really think reframing is switching us from doubt to hope, or doubt to opportunity, to expecting opportunity. Now, this is not to negate in any way the challenges of life or the lessons that we're here to learn or the ways that we actually do need help sometimes. No, in fact, it just helps us to get through it with a little more life force and a little more positivity. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy about positivity and loving lighting something away. It's definitely not what I condone. In fact, part of my work as a coach and as a hypnotherapist and a guide is to help us to go into the stuff and move it. And I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while or not. If it's your first time, if we've not met before, I've got some stuff. I've got some. I've got some stuff. I had a very traumatic upbringing. I suffered from crippling PTSD for much of my adulthood, and so I'm talking what I believe. I am walking what I practice, and the reason I do it is because I love it, and because it was really truly like a living hell for a lot of my life, and now it's living opportunity. And I want to make that, I want to I don't know, help you to have some hope, have some inspiration, because there were times when I didn't feel it. It was there somehow because I think I made it through anyway, but I want you to feel that as well, whatever it is you're going through. And every challenge, every struggle, everything that we are going through is valid, and there is a supportive universe who is pursuing us to help us to get through it. That's what I choose to experience, let's say that. Besides choosing to experience it, it is what I can see in my history, even when I thought I wasn't choosing to experience that hope. But hope feels better than doubt, right? And there's a reason why we doubt, because we're intelligent, you know what I mean? Like, the doubt is just like observing the other possibilities. So it's not about making ourselves dumb. It is about opening ourselves up to possibilities. And then that sharpens our awareness and attunes our life force energy to be able to connect with it, if you can even just think about it that way. I think Amanda is a great example of that. We had so much that we actually overlapped on. So I would love for you to check out the podcast, because we talk about a lot of fun things. That's my invitation to you, as well as to invite you once again to like, subscribe, share, comment, click the little bell for notifications, and please do follow me on Instagram, where you'll find some other interesting, exciting, inspiring, hopefully, content. And that's what I have for you in this video. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.